My coping method is using music to heal my emotions.
My coping method is running.
My name is Eliseo Santillan. I am from Mexico City. I was born in Mexico and now I'm living in Kelowna, British Columbia, Canada. And I am a composer and music producer, and sometimes also I am an artistic director for some projects. I think what I struggle, or for a long time I struggled like a lot, is anxiety, probably. Like sometimes feeling anxiety for out of nowhere, like with no reason, like everything is good, everything is okay, why am I anxious, why am I feeling like that? And it affected, now I can deal with it much better, but before sometimes I felt like I couldn't do anything. I needed to stay at home all by myself, not talking to anyone. Sometimes it could be for days, even weeks. Because it was the anxiety, when it grows, you start feeling paranoid. You feel fear that everything's go wrong, a lot of things. So yeah, that's been a little bit of my journey with anxiety. Since I was a very little kid, since I was like 2 years old, I had a godmother she loved music, like all kinds of music, but she played for me her records of classical music, blues, rock, like the Beatles, and very different kind of music, but she played all her records for me since I was very little. And then, so I grew up listening to music. Then when I was 13 years old, my father wanted me to learn to play the piano, so he took me to a piano academy. And it turned out that I like it and that I'm good at it. So that's how I started. I think it has always been a coping method. Perhaps at the beginning I was not aware of that. But every time I listen to music, it's like I can go to some other place, like to a safe place. My mind gets distracted and focused, so all the emotions that come with the anxiety, like I was gonna say negative emotions, but they're emotions, but the ones that don't feel good. When I listen to music, it's like they calm down, and suddenly I start feeling good, and the anxiety goes away. So I think I've done that all my life, but I became aware of it probably when I was in my 20s, like that it became more evident to me, or I started to think about this with more clarity about it. At 2018, I wasn't expecting to be where I'm right now. I was expecting to be better, but it was my idea of myself in 2018 was definitely different than what it is now. And that being said, it's much better now than what I thought it would be or it should be in 2018. I would be living in Mexico City, living with someone, a partner, a woman, a girlfriend, or maybe something else. And yeah, working at that time, I was very focused on working on shows, like performing arts, producing shows and creating shows and selling shows in Mexico and around the world. That time, that what I was doing, and I was focused on that. But yeah, definitely it was more based in Mexico with my previous life over there. And yeah, basically that was the plan. When the pandemic started, everything changed. So I always wanted to live in a different country at some point of my life. And I started to make plans to come here. At that time, I had a partner, I had a girlfriend. So we started to do the plan to come here together. And then things didn't work out between she and I. But when we broke up, I decided I had everything ready to come. It took me 2 years of planning to come here, to apply with the Canadian government and everything I had to do. So when I finally got my study permit, I said, okay, I'm going there. And so I came to Canada by myself without knowing anyone here. So that's very short, long story short, that's how I got here. But it's, I think I came here looking for different options for me. You know, I was doing well in Mexico, but at that moment, in between 2019 and 2020, I felt that I had no more opportunities, or they were very limited. So one of the reasons I'm here is because I want to expand my life choices and professional choices and everything. Well, I think in general people are afraid of talking about mental health. And I think the main reason is because it still happens that most of the people think it is not a problem, or it is not a health problem. It is we are being taught, or at least in my generation in Mexico, many men and women like me, we were taught that we have to deal with our own emotions and we have to solve it. And if you need help, it's because something's wrong with you and you need therapy and probably drugs. So that's like the main stereotype or the main construct around mental health. So I think, fortunately, in the last years, it's one of the good things that came with the COVID pandemic, that mental health institutions and governments started to look at it as a real problem. And it's not, I think that people who are starting to understand what this is about, they understand that it is not that there's something wrong with the person who's suffering some kind of mental health. It is that that person needs help or needs tools to deal with all those whatever they are going through. So I think in the last 2 or 3 years, there's been a huge change on the paradigm around mental health. The way culture is in Mexico, especially when you are a man, you are not supposed to talk about your emotions at all. It's like you have to be all the time like stable, like in a good mood, and willing to work and be the man that society needs you to be. So whenever, at least in my family and my social circle, it was very common that nobody talked about these things. Like, you keep it to yourself. Maybe you talked about it with a closest friend, but at least in my family we never talked about these things. Like, and even when maybe a couple times I tried or I wanted to talk about it, I was told like, stop talking. We don't. Shut up. It's only your imagination. You're okay. Go and do something. So, like, in general, and the people who do this, who was family members or family friends, people around older than me, they were not doing it. I know they didn't have like a bad intention. Like, they were not trying to harm me, but that's the only way they knew how to deal with this, because they themselves didn't know. Like, my father never got in touch with his emotions, for example, So I think it's especially for men. It's I think it's changing now, but I think there are many men that you don't even think to think about your own emotions and becoming aware of them and look at what's happening. So you just like suppress them and find something to do, or drugs, alcohol, whatever, to cope with them. So that's how I experienced this topic. I think when you start to get deep into your emotional world and you try to understand it and you work on it, you get rid of a lot of false beliefs that you grow up with, and yes, you become more stable. You have more clarity. I think you become stronger in the sense that you are more capable of living in the world without reacting, because things happen all the time. Things that affect your life, or someone that comes and says something that upset you. When you learn to embrace and know all your emotional world, you don't react. You are more like, you act more calmly and cool, and you don't get violent. You stop suffering. You don't feel anxiety. But it's a process. But yes, definitely, it feels. You feel stronger. You feel more stable, I would say, and more confident. I feel better all the time, and it's been like I think I started to work like seriously about this perhaps 15 years ago, and it has been like sometimes I feel it's a slow process, but I think it's a process. It's not as slow or as fast. It is what it is, and it's different for every person. So since I started to work on myself, to get to know my emotional world, why am I feeling this? Where does this come from? Is this mine? Is this not mine? And music, using music, I think before music was an escape. Now music is a tool for me. So I use it consciously and with the intention to help me. And also because of what I do for a living, composing music, producing music. For the last 10 years, I've also been making music that helps people as a tool, but not for this, I think of music as a tool more than art or more than music itself. So as long as I've going through this journey, musical and mental health and emotional journey, I understand much better about my own emotional world. So yeah, I've been using music very consciously and with the awareness that it helps, but not like, oh, it makes you feel good. No, it really produces a change in the person's brain chemistry when you use music like that. What I like the most, or my experience, is that, and years before I used to reject this that I am about to say, but the thing is, a couple of weeks ago, a friend of mine here in Kelowna, he invited me to a kind of open mic, and I played the piano. So I played a song, and it was very evident to me the faces of the people who were listening. When I started, most of them, I didn't knew anyone except for my friend. So when I started playing, everyone was like serious, like normal. When I finished my song and I looked from the piano to the people, everyone was smiling. So that's what happens when I play live, when I play the piano, people smile. And that's like, that has no price, it's like a blessing that me doing something that I love to do causes that effect on people. It's like one of the best feelings experiences ever. My favorite thing to do when I play the piano, I do improvisation. So, for example, what I was telling you, when I played the piano here in Kelowna a couple of weeks ago, I actually, when I introduced myself and I told people, okay, I'm gonna play around this idea that's in my head about winter, how winter feels, how winter makes us feel. So I started to play. I created at the moment, in that moment, I created like a little melody, and I started working around it, and I ended up playing like 4 minutes. So that's what I love to do. It's not like playing one song or playing. It's more like in the moment, with the energy around me and what I'm feeling. Actually, what I am feeling. If I am feeling good, I'll play something more uplifting. Probably if I am feeling a little bit anxious or sad, probably I'm gonna play something a little bit more intense, maybe darker. But yeah, that's what I love to do. Like get my emotions out through using the piano. The piano can take them. I think for me, mental health means to be aware of your thoughts and your emotions. What are you thinking in this moment, and how are you feeling in that moment? And if you are feeling good, it means your thoughts are good for you. But when you don't feel good for any reason, it means you are thinking about something that's not good for you. So for me, it's mental health is about the awareness of the clarity of what's going on with your thoughts and what emotions those thoughts are causing on you. If you can be aware of that, that's a huge step, because I think that's the beginning of the healing. Because then you can look for help, you can see what you need, and you get it. Well, my suggestion first would be to tell this person that there's absolutely nothing wrong with them. There's having a mental health problem or something that's going on. It's not because there's something wrong with them. It's because something is happening inside of them. But accepting that there's nothing wrong with you, there are things you want to improve, change, or heal, it makes all the difference. Because when you start working or looking for help, thinking that there's something wrong with you, things usually go wrong. So what I mean by saying that there's nothing wrong with you is accepting everything you are, the good and the bad, because you cannot get rid of that. It's part of who you are, and even the bad things that you did in the past or happened to you, they are part of who you are now. So accepting all of that, embracing it, it will give you mental peace and emotional peace and spiritual peace, if you wanna say it like that. So yeah, that's what I would say. And be honest with yourself and ask for help. If you need help, you can ask for a conversation, therapy, counseling, whatever you need, but don't be afraid to ask for help. It's okay to ask for help. My name is Eliseo, and my coping method is using music to heal my emotions.